great human being. So we're going to talk about the 10 distinguishers in a second, which is what just got passed around. We're going to skip, and big picture is gaining momentum. 21. Whoop, whoop. We are 21. Missouri is 21. The Big Picture School at Covenant House made it 21. Okay, so we're 21. We're the 21st state and the 46th Big Picture School to open it up. So these numbers are accurate and up to date with us. There are 21 states, 46 schools in the United States. There is several in Canada. I don't want to give you any hard numbers because they would be wrong most likely, but I do know there's a couple in Canada. I think there's like a couple in Ontario and maybe 1 or 2 in Edmonton, but I want to say around 5 or 6 that are in Canada also. Doc, both of these guys are getting ready to step down and pass the torch to younger advisors that have been doing this for a while. But Doc is opening a new college. He's opening a Big Picture college. And I am not joking at all. If I go back to school for a higher degree, I will be looking to enroll in this college. I cannot wait to see what happens. They're still in the baby stages of that college, just like we're in the baby stages of school here at Covenant House. But I'm very excited to see what that happens, what that's going to be like. It's called College Unbound. They do have a website if you guys are interested in it. I was on it today. Like I said, some of it's still getting put together, but they do have a working, functioning website. Alternative school. So I want to talk about this. Like, who knows what an alternative school is, right? We all went to high school. We know what an alternative school is, and it's for those kids, right? We want to push up against that as hard as we possibly can. Alternative, I'm using alternative school in the true definition of the word alternative. Okay, it's not a lesser than school, it's a different way of going through education. So I embrace the term alternative because I fight the definition of it now. Sometimes I've been told in the past, like, maybe you might not want to call it an alternative school, and I'm like, no, I'll call it an alternative school and I'll defend it when that comes up. It is an alternative school, it's just not for those kids. Insert unfair label here, you know, dumb, misbehave, whatever silly label you want to give kids. It's not for those kids, okay? And we're going to let them, I have a couple videos of them, very short, not as long as the last one. I have some shorter videos for them talking, but we're going to go through the 10 distinguishers here. And very simply, this is what distinguishes Big Picture from your traditional high schools. One student at a time. The entire learning experience is personalized to each student's interests, talents, and needs. Personalization expands beyond mere academic work and involves looking at each student holistically. We've talked about this a little bit. So there's a interview process, and I put interview in quotes because an interview is something that you can fail. Like, if you go to an interview, it's a possibility you don't get the job. It's not so much with us. If you enroll during that enrollment process, I'm kind of asking those questions and making sure that you're a good fit. And then the interview process is a way for me, my advisors, and Mr. Cancer, if you guys have met him, he's the, well, he's many things here, but what he'll be doing as far as Big Picture is concerned is the internships coordinator. So he, myself, and my advisor will sit down and interview these kids, and it's essentially just a way of getting to know them. What are they scared of? What are they good at? What do they struggle with? Just getting to know them because, like I said, it starts with building that relationship. Without that, what are we doing? Advisory structure. If you notice, I am an academic advisor, not a teacher, and we go to advisory, not class, and those are specifically chosen to differentiate us from a traditional school. So advisory is the core organizational and relational structure of Big Picture Learning School. It's the heart and soul, often described as a second family by students. Students say, stay with an advisor and a group of fellow classmates for 4 years, building close personal relationships that last a lifetime. Now we're a little different. For us, it'll be, I'll move up with them. I mean, there's no other advisor at the moment. Our goal is to have several on staff and larger classes, you know, within the next coming years. But we will stay with the youth as long as we possibly can, or until they've succeeded and gotten to where they want to go. Learning through internships, LTIs. Some I've never really heard it used as learn through interest. It's learning through internships. It's a necessary component of Big Picture. So if I'm in advisory 3 days a week, where I'm shooting for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but then again, it's about the specific students. If that doesn't work for a student, then we adapt. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, ideally, they will be going to internships. I sit down with a youth and they say, I want to be we'll use a silly, simple example because we're in a covenant house. A youth comes to me and says, I want to be a social worker. And I says, okay. I will go out into the community, mainly I will walk upstairs and find somebody who's a social worker, who's currently doing that job. And they will be your mentor. And you will function as an employee of that organization for 2 of the 5 days of the week. And I mean, if just because my class starts at 9 o'clock, if they want you there at 6 o'clock in the morning, you show up at 6 o'clock in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just because school lets out around 3:30, if your job says you can't leave until 7:30 that night, you stay there until 7:30 that night. You are a functioning employee of that organization. During that time, they are working on a project. Close. They're working on a project to put on an exhibition at the end of a unit, year, month, whatever. That whole time, they are journaling about their experience. We are going through math and writing as it applies to their occupation and what they're discovering right now. And then at the end, they put on an exhibition, which is something that they've produced. So for social work, some sort of example, just off the top of my head, they might come up with a fake client. They might give me the profile of a fake client and say, this is what I would do if I were in this situation. These are the people I would contact. This is the vocabulary I would use. This is why. And now I'm going to teach that to you. So this is the beauty of me. For me, is that I get to be the learner also. Like I said, I don't have to be the knowledgeable other that the educational philosopher used. So they teach the class, their mentors, family members, and advisors all at the end, and that's their exhibition. That takes the place of their test. I'm going to just try to get on through this. So we want parent and family engagement, very self-explanatory. The more youth we have in their corner, the higher the chance of success. School culture is family, right? That's the culture I want to build. That's the culture I want. I want them to feel comfortable coming to any of you guys with any problems because you guys are part of the Cub family. Just because advisory is our second family, I want them to feel comfortable with any employee of the Covenant House because I've told them many times, even when they push back, the case manager's annoying me doing this, and I'm like, I promise you, those case managers have your back. Those case managers have your best interests in mind. So I want them to feel comfortable with that family structure. Authentic assessment is just that. Instead of a test, you have to produce something. You've got to do something authentically. If I gave Mary a book and in 2 hours I said, I want to know what you learned, the least effective way for me to figure that out would be give her a test. The most effective way for me to figure that out would be sit down and talk to her about the book, right? So that's an authentic assessment. School organization, that doesn't much apply to us because we are setting up a school and a homeless shelter. Big Picture is a unique model, and we are a unique school within that model.